The crimson warning lights bathed the bridge of the UES Defiance in an ominous glow as Commander Riza Chen stood before the massive tactical display. The hologram showed a sight that would have broken lesser species. 3,000 Zephyrian dreadnoughts descending upon Earth like a plague of metallic locusts, their sleek hulls gleaming with the confidence of a race that had conquered 17 star systems without losing a single vessel. "Ma'am," called out Lieutenant Ana Martinez from her station, her fingers dancing across the quantum communication array. "The Zephyrian High Command is broadcasting on all frequencies. They're demanding our unconditional surrender." Riza's jaw tightened as she studied the enemy formation. The Zephyrians had arrived exactly as human intelligence had predicted. Overwhelming force, textbook deployment, absolute certainty in their technological superiority. They had every right to be confident. Their plasma cannons could vaporize a human destroyer in seconds. Their shields could deflect anything in humanity's conventional arsenal. Their faster-than-light drives were generations ahead of human technology. What they hadn't counted on was humanity's greatest weapon, the refusal to accept the impossible. "Patch me through to all ships," Riza commanded, her voice carrying the steel that had earned her command of humanity's most advanced vessel. "This is Commander Chen to all units of the Terran Defense Fleet." Across the solar system, on 800 human vessels ranging from massive battle cruisers to converted cargo haulers armed with mining lasers, crews listened as their commander's words echoed through the void. "Today, the Zephyrians expect us to kneel. They've studied our technology, analyzed our tactics, and concluded that resistance is futile." Riza paused, letting her words sink in. "They're about to learn why humans don't stay conquered." Lieutenant Ana couldn't suppress a grim smile as she watched the tactical display. Hidden throughout the asteroid belt, cloaked behind the moons of Jupiter and scattered across the outer planets, human ships powered up systems the Zephyrians had never encountered. Not because they were more advanced, but because they were brilliantly, uniquely human. The first surprise came when the Zephyrian vanguard reached Mars orbit. What appeared to be a small human patrol fleet suddenly erupted in a cascade of electromagnetic pulses that shouldn't have been possible with human technology. Except humanity had done something the Zephyrians considered impossible. They had weaponized their own technological inferiority. Dr. Sarah Kim had made the breakthrough 6 months earlier. Unable to match Zephyrian shield technology, she had asked a different question. What if they didn't need to? Every Zephyrian ship relied on quantum processors that operated on principles of perfect mathematical harmony. Human computers, crude and chaotic by comparison, generated electromagnetic interference that to Zephyrian systems was like nails on a chalkboard amplified 1,000 times. "First wave is experiencing system failures across their formation," Ana reported, her voice tight with excitement. "Their shields are fluctuating." That was the cue for Phase 2. From behind Earth's moon emerged humanity's mining fleet. Hundreds of vessels never designed for war but repurposed with the kind of desperate ingenuity that had carried humans from caves to the stars. Asteroid miners became kinetic bombardment platforms. Solar collectors became focused energy weapons. Even garbage scows had been fitted with nuclear charges, ready to ram enemy vessels if necessary. The Zephyrians tried to adapt, but they had never faced an enemy that viewed defeat as merely another engineering problem to solve. When their plasma cannons proved ineffective against human ablative armor made from compressed carbon waste, they recalibrated. When human ships scattered like startled fish only to regroup in impossible formations, they adjusted their targeting algorithms. But they couldn't adjust fast enough for human unpredictability. Commander Riza watched as Captain Torres of the mining vessel Stubborn Mule executed a maneuver that violated every principle of space combat, diving directly into a Zephyrian formation, while spinning his ship like a gyroscope and firing mining charges in all directions. It was tactically insane, strategically pointless, and completely devastating to enemy ships that had never trained to counter an attack that made no logical sense. "Zephyrian fleet is breaking formation," Ana announced. "They're trying to establish a defensive perimeter around their command ship." "Signal the reserves," Riza ordered. "Execute Broken Arrow." From the depths of space came humanity's final gambit, a ragtag fleet of ships that weren't ships at all. Converted space stations, hollowed-out asteroids, even repurposed generation ships that had never made it past Earth orbit. Each one broadcasting human music, Human literature, human voices across every frequency spectrum. To the Zephyrians, whose culture prized order and logic, the cacophony was overwhelming. Their battle computers, designed to process and counter organized military communications, couldn't filter out the chaos of 10,000 human voices singing, arguing, laughing, and crying across the cosmos. Lieutenant Anna watched her sensors as Zephyrian ships began to retreat, their formations dissolving into chaos. "Ma'am, they're pulling back. The entire fleet is withdrawing to the edge of the system." But Commander Riza knew better than to celebrate yet. She opened a channel to the Zephyrian command ship. "This is Commander Chen of the Terran Defense Fleet. You came here expecting to find a species ready to surrender. Instead, you found humans." The response came in perfect clipped English. "Explain your resistance. Our analysis indicated certain victory." Riza smiled, the expression visible to every human crew member watching their leader face down an empire. "Your mistake was assuming that impossible means defeated. Humans don't know when to quit. We don't accept that something can't be done just because it's never been done before. You brought superior technology to fight an inferior species. But you forgot one thing. We're the species that looked at the stars and decided we belonged there." The Zephyrian fleet continued its withdrawal, leaving behind the wreckage of absolute certainty. As Earth's defenders regrouped, Lieutenant Anna turned to her commander. "Think they'll be back?" Commander Riza looked out at the stars, where human ships were already beginning salvage operations on abandoned Zephyrian technology. "Maybe. But they'll never underestimate us again. And by the time they return, we'll have had time to figure out how to do 10 more impossible things." The day humanity's fleet shattered the invasion became legend, not for the victory itself, but for the reminder it carried across the galaxy. Never count out a species stubborn enough to turn their weaknesses into weapons and their defeats into lessons. In the end, the Zephyrians had been right about one thing: resistance had been futile. Just not in the way they expected.